The film that I watched and will be presenting on is Flow. The director of Flow is Irina Salina. Her purpose in making this video was to build a case on the growing privatization of the world's dwindling freshwater supply with an unflinching focus on politics, pollution, human rights, and the emergence of a domineering world water cartel. She achieved this goal by interviewing scientists and activists to reveal the rapidly building crisis at the global and human scale. The film took almost 5 years to make due to lack of funds. Her reason to create this film was that she was a new mother, and this changed her view on the world and led her to think of how we are leaving this world for future generations. Thousands have lived without love, not one without water. W.H. Auden. So who owns water? In reality, no one does. Water has become scarce, and because of that, it has become the new oil. Bottled water is no different than tap water. The FDA does not know what is in bottled water. The number one pollutant in water is atrazine, which ironically is banned by the United Nations. However, Europe still distributes this pesticide to the United States. The building of dams has caused 40 to 80 million people to be displaced from their homes and communities in the 20th century. We are nothing without water. There is no substitute for fresh water. Water is a resource, not property, and we must protect it before we lose it. Facts about water. The water and sanitation crisis claims more lives through disease than any war claims through guns. There are over 116,000 human-made chemicals that are finding their way into public water supply systems. According to the National Resources Defense Council, in a scientific study in which more than 1,000 bottles of 103 brands of water were tested, about one-third of the bottles contain synthetic organic chemicals, bacteria, and arsenic. There are estimates that from 500,000 to 7 million people get sick per year from drinking tap water. In Bolivia, nearly 1 out of every 10 children will die before the age of 5. Most of those deaths are related to illnesses that come from a lack of clean drinking water. Water is a $400 billion global industry, the third largest behind electricity and oil. The cost per person per year for having 10 liters of safe drinking water every day is just $6. While the average American uses 150 gallons of water per day, those in developing countries cannot find 5. California's water supply is running out. It has about 20 years of water left in the state. Out of the 6 billion people on Earth, 1.1 billion do not have access to safe, clean drinking water. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency currently does not regulate 51 known water contaminants. Privatization of water. Most people in countries around the world cannot afford to pay for water. Companies come into a country and force themselves upon the citizens for their own profit by forcing these people to pay for water. This leads to people going back to the rivers and streams where they are susceptible to the harmful bacteria and parasites of the wild. The Ganges River is a river with both spiritual and religious significance. Water companies have recently started to take water from this river, which is causing uproar in the surrounding communities. In comparing water scarcity around the globe, it is easily noticeable that Africa has the highest level of scarcity than any other continent. This is easily explained by the lack of development that this region has been known for. Comparably, we can see that North America and Europe are both adequately supplied when it comes to having a safe and plentiful amount of water. The BBC article written by Roger Harabin states that over the past 40 years, the world's population has doubled. Our use of water has quadrupled, yet the amount of water on Earth has stayed the same. This statistic puts into perspective our water scarcity problem. Some solutions to water scarcity are play pumps in Africa, where children play on merry-go-rounds that pump water into water towers that were donated. This provides a fun and effective method for the towns. It takes $4,000 to construct a well, but this is a substantial amount of money for the underdeveloped countries in need of this help. However, this cost would be quickly countered by the number of lives saved with a new source of fresh water. One of the oldest yet most effective forms of obtaining fresh water is via rainwater collection. This method is utilized by a water conservation group in Rajasthan, one of the driest states in India, and has kept communities alive in the harsh environment for centuries. There is a petition to add Article 31 to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 31 states that everyone has the right to clean and accessible water, adequate for the health and well-being of the individual and family, and no one shall be deprived of such access or quality of water due to individual economic circumstances. This would be a huge step forward in our global fight against water scarcity. And these are my works cited.